I sweat on it, bleed on it, spit on it. I don't like cleaning it because then it just gets rid of that
character.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this is Russ from AMS. I'm here side stage with Brandon Wolfe from New Year's Day. Brandon, it's good to be with you, man.
Yeah, good to be with you.
Brandon duels as both the bass player for New Year's Day and also on side stage running some of the sound of what we're going to walk through today. So how long, first off, before we even dive in, have you guys been using this rig, this setup that we're going to go through?
This rig started a few years ago and has slowly grown to what it is now, but the basic of it we've had for a few years now.
So at the core of it right now, what are we looking at? We have a few wireless rigs that are going here. We have our side stage, call it in-ear monitor mix.
Yeah, that's our rack mix for our ears and also monitors if we run them. And then we've got 2 stage boxes down here. One's for us on stage for our ears, and then one's for our front of house guy.
When you're running stuff for stage in ears, what are you actually giving them? Like, are you actually kind of giving any of the crowd within their in ears? You have mics set up for that?
We actually do not have any like ambient mics, but we don't really need them. We're so used to just having the instruments.
Yep.
And then Ash, our singer, we kind of pick up from hers. So I don't really bother doing it, but I know a lot of people do. But we're so used to just hearing what we hear. So no, we don't run that.
And for convenience sake, I noticed when you guys were doing sound check that you actually bring your bass off stage. Your side stage here, you got your tablet all set up, so you're able to run that mix, give everybody what they want. What's that like for you?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm off and on the whole time. I start the. Are we good? Yeah. I start the show here. Once the intro track starts, I run to go where I need to go, and then I go from there. So sure. This is my world until I have to play, and then I'm back here.
So outside of doing the in-ear monitor mixes, you're also kind of complicate things. You have running Ableton for backing mixes or backing tracks that are being fed through your monitor mixes as well.
Yeah, so we have on Ableton, we have we've got our backing tracks, so our synths, our bass drops, all that stuff. But we also program. We got pyrofoggers on stage that get programmed in here. We program our Kemper and Helix patches because we have different tunings.
Yep.
So yeah, I program everything, any type of guitar tone change, anything. It's all run from here.
So is the guitar tones or any of it automated within the Kempers as well, or is it is it patch changes?
It's just so they're the same patches but different tunings.
Okay.
So we don't have to go off stage and switch instruments or anything like that. It's just it swaps the tuning in here. So if we're in the normal tuning we play, then it's like a main, but then a different song, it'll just pitch shift it down.
Are you using foot controllers for the Kempers and the Line 6 on stage?
I have it all run through the laptop.
Okay.
So I have MIDI on here that programs all of these, including the foggers.
So you're using the Kemper, Jeremy's using the Kemper, and Nikki is using the Line 6 Helix?
Correct.
So are the tones that you're replicating, when you're in the studio, are you typically using real amps, or are you also using the Kempers and the Helix within the studio setting as well?
Studio setting, it depends. The Kemper, like the tones I use in the studio are the same tones I use in here, which I use a plugin for normally. But yeah, so we Jeremy and I particularly love Pantera. So we actually have Frankenstein tones, which I don't know if you guys know crank amps from back in the day. But yeah, so we have Frankenstein. And I believe Nikki also does, but don't quote me. It's been a while since I did his tone, but yeah.
Are you building the tones for each of the players
correct.
up there? Now, in the midst of your show, what happens if you have to end up modifying in terms of your sound for your in-ears?
Well, knock on wood, I hope you didn't jinx me. I've never had that problem.
Okay.
If I really had to, I have to nonchalantly come off and fix it.
Okay, but you're wireless, so in a worst case scenario, you can
I've never had a problem. And I don't run a redundant system yet. I want to run a redundant system. I don't know. iConnectivity does they have a redundant system interface where you can run 2 laptops. And if one goes down, it'll instantly switch the other one. I want to do that. But as of now, we just have one, but I've never had an issue.
Okay.
We're all kind of in the boat where just play the show. As long as we can hear ourselves. If there's a minor issue, just play the show. Sure. It's not going to be perfect. Our job up there is just to entertain.
Absolutely.
We know the songs. We know them. Now, our in-ear mix is great. I'll give it that. I hear everything clear. But if there's a problem like that, Todd's our front of house guy's on a separate thing. So if we have a problem, it doesn't affect him.
So I noticed you guys are using the Sennheiser EWG4 systems for your in-ear monitors.
Yeah.
From everything I've heard, the reliability has been outstanding. For you guys, has that been the same experience?
Yeah, we've had no issues with them. I personally like them. I mean, Sure's great too. Centers is great. I like them just because I know how to use them. Like I know how to get around them as quick as possible. So that's why I have them in there. But that with the RF venue, with the beam, there's zero issues, no problems at all. Even in the worst situation by an airport or stadium, as long as you find a good frequency, you're pretty solid.
No, that's great. We appreciate you running us down with the whole rig.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
luck with the show tonight, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm here with the guys from New Year's Day. Appreciate your time, fellas.
Oh, thanks for having us.
And they're going to walk me through what looks to be like a little mini Schecter store that's behind. We're big Schecter fans at AMS ourselves.
That's right.
So if you could run us through your rig, really. We have 2 basses and 4 guitars. Two guitars a guy?
Yeah. So we'll start off basses.
Yeah, man. So I run the Schecter Ultra Bass. I run just 2 of the exact same. They're literally identical, no changes, just exact. One's a backup, one's a main, and that's that.
Yeah, the one thing I liked, he told me before earlier on, is that these are actually, the way you have them set up, tuning-wise, they're 4-string Schecters, but you actually tune them for 5-string tuning.
Yeah, correct. So like, I don't like playing 5-string basses just because I got tiny hands, but so I get them all set up as if they're 5-string. So I have a B string, E string, A string, and D string, and I get rid of the G string. So
I always love that type of unique stuff and approaches to the instrument. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. As far as the next wave of 2, is this you, Jeremy?
No, actually that's me. So
Okay, Nikki.
So my 2 guitars, I run the Schecter PT7, which is like more of a Telecaster body, just because I love that old like kind of country look to it. And then right here, I got the Blackjack SLS, which is like your typical shreddy metal guitar, but both of them just have killer tone and
active pickups and
active
both.
pickups, yeah. And if they can handle me, there's some tough badass guitars.
I like it. So between the 2, which one is your main axe?
The main one is definitely the PT7. I love the Telecaster bodies. Yeah.
Tonally, are you kind of finding that you can kind of cover the same ground, or do they have a little bit of a tonal difference between the 2 for you?
So me, I've always been a plug and play person. So
Yep.
I've never cared about like the tone. I grew up like punk rock. Like it didn't have to be in tune. I just want to play it loud and in your face. So when I usually look at guitars, I'm like, what looks badass? Like what sings to me like when I see it?
Yeah.
And especially with nowadays, like you don't need the exact right pickups. Like you can just program it through your wild little magic system here and make it just sound insane.
Can you take the PT out for us?
Absolutely.
What color is this particular model?
So this one, I got the ultraviolet. So depending on the light, would you mind holding that for a sec? Depending on the light, like it'll either be purple,
Oh, that's
blue.
nice. Yep, black
Got a little
hardware.
green in there.
No, that's
This
beautiful.
thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, EMG active pickups.
Oh, EMGs for sure.
7 strings across, I guess, the lot for you guys. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, so
the binding's beautiful too.
Yeah, so we run 7 strings. We tune this one down to a low A. And so it's pretty much like playing like just a drop D on a 6 string.
Yeah.
That's the way we always think about it. But
No, it's beautiful. Can we see the other one too, if you don't mind?
and there's the Blackjack SLS, which this is
Got
actually
some
the
love
one I'm going to be
behind
playing
it,
with
little
today.
road worn.
Oh yeah, I sweat on it, bleed on it, spit on it. I don't like cleaning it because then it just gets rid of that
Character.
exactly.
Now you actually get the Duncan. So are these passive or are these active?
Active.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Jeremy's.
So my main is the ATX. They actually don't make these anymore. Schecter, get on it.
Yeah.
These are amazing. Totally looks like a Les Paul. The best part is how beat up it is. If you look at the back, like chip up there,
Got the chip up here.
just beat
No,
to
it's
hell.
well worn.
Oh yeah, that's probably from belts. Just scraping the hell out of it.
And it's fairly light. all
Oh,
things
it's
considered when you
extremely
compare it
light.
to like an LP. No, it's beautiful.
Yeah, see, I love this one because it does have a Les Paul look. I grew up playing Les Pauls.
Yep.
But Les Pauls are so heavy, so playing even with 15 minutes on, you're like, man, my shoulder, dude. But
No,
you
absolutely.
can throw this thing around for days.
Yeah, and you got Duncan's again with the active pickups. Beautiful. And which is this your main?
This is my main.
Okay.
It's the Hellraiser. I think this one has EMGs in it. Yeah.
That's why you got the mic.
Yeah, that has EMGs in it. As you can see, this is definitely my backup.
Mhm.
Pretty immaculate condition. Nothing wrong with it.
Speaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yep, and EMG's on this guy too.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
they both sound great. EMG and Seymour Duncan, both great.
The matte finish on the back of the neck is really nice as opposed to the gloss. It actually has like a cutoff here where it goes to a more matte finish.
Oh, one of my favorite things about this guitar is the actual dots on the top glow in the dark.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that until I played it live for the first time. And I was like, oh man, it's blackout and I can see what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
that's great.
Excellent. You know, the one thing, Brandon, why don't you take your bass out too, just so we didn't see any love on the bass side. So I know these are two identical models, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, they're identical. So
With your EMGs, I mean, we're pretty straightforward here. We have the black hardware.
Yeah, these are passive though.
These are passive on the EMG side. Okay.
Yep.
How long have you been playing this particular model?
Ooh, 2 years probably now.
2 years?
Yeah.
What was it before?
I don't remember. What was the other Schecter one? I don't remember.
But it was in the Schecter
It
family?
was, yeah.
Okay, very cool.
But yeah, this one, I'm very happy.
This is your go-to. Yep. We appreciate you guys walking us through the rig, guys.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you so
show
much.
tonight.
Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
also with Schecter, we just want to give a big shout out to our boy Anthony Scumlove, who without him, none of this would be possible.
yeah.
So thank you,
Thank
Schecter
you,
fam,
Schecter.
Anthony
With
Scummy.
much love. AMS and New Year's Day.